Okay, just for kicks, because that's how I get my kicks around here. Hey everybody, welcome back to Pavonine Studios Beauty and Art. If you are new here, my name is Amy. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time here. For today's video, I am going to be doing a eyeshadow palette review. I recently picked up the Naughty palette from Huda Beauty, and I have not looked at this. I have not opened it. I have not done anything with this palette. And this palette's been out now for about, I want to say about 3 weeks or so. And I wasn't going to get it, and I really didn't need it, but I thought, well, I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up and do a little review on it, because I know a lot of people like Huda's products, and I don't have a lot of her products, but I do have I have the Nude Obsessions palettes, the light, the medium, and the rich. And then I have the Disappointment Khaki Haze palette. And I thought, well, I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. This is what she looks like. So it's really pretty and everything. It's very Huda. It's very warm. It's very pink. It's very brown. There are four of the sort of marbled shadows in here, so I don't know what those are supposed to look like. And then everybody was just absolutely losing their shit over this one right here, which is like, it's called Slippery, which is ew, but it's like in a gel gloss base, I think, and then the little balls in it are like shimmery colors. I don't know. We'll see. I don't even know if I'm going to bother to put that on my eyes or not, but people were just losing their crap over it and freaking out about just like, if you have like a sensitivity to certain kinds of textures, or like the little holes in things, that kind of stuff. I don't, but I can understand why people do. But I don't know. Like I say, people were just losing their shit over this, and so I'm like, well, I didn't buy it for that, but I did want to see what all the fuss was about. And so I don't know. I think I'm just gonna do kind of your standard Huda Beauty look and see what I come up with. It is the 20. Is it the 29th? It's the 29th of November. I can't believe December's almost here. Christmas is right around the corner. I just think that's insane, but So I am going to scoot in. I am going to prime my eyes with, I'm going to use the Anastasia one today, for no particular reason other than, I don't know, I have it. So let's just go ahead and use this. The only thing I really don't care anything about this primer is how damn light it is. And I just think that eliminates a lot of people from being able to use this product. Of course, having a super light base is going to make things pop a little bit more, but sometimes you don't necessarily want that. You want something a little more flesh toned, whatever your flesh tone is. And this just, I don't know, it just doesn't have that. There's one color supposed to be, one size fits almost nobody, basically. But for me, it's all right. So I'm going to go ahead and use that. Let's just do kind of your standard YouTube beauty guru, which I am not. I am not a beauty guru. I'm just a chick out here playing with eyeshadow. But let's just go ahead and do kind of the standard transition shade, dark outer corner, shimmery lid thing, which is a look I like, of course. These colors are not really blowing my skirt up, but hey. I am going to take just a little fluffy brush, and I'm going to go into the color Hypnotic, which is just your standard beigey color. It's very exciting. I will say that I do like the nude rich, medium, and light palettes. I like the rich one the best because it's the darkest and most intense. The light one is not really my jam, but there are some pretty colors in it. I just wish she would branch out a little bit as far as her color schemes and do more of the, oh, what were they called? Were they called the Neon Obsessions palettes? Which I don't think you can get anymore at like Sephora. I think you can still get them on Huda's website. But I didn't get any of those because well, I just missed them. That's the short story there. So that's a nice color. It's not that interesting, but I think I am going to go into the color Juicy. And let's see, I'm going to swatch two of these shades because they seem so close. So I'm going to swatch the shade Juicy and the shade Rough. And I guess Rough is a little warmer. Tone wise, they are, kind of the same mid-tone sort of thing. So there's Rough. And, oh no, don't be like that. Here's Juicy. I think there's a little bit of sparkle or something in Juicy, but I'm not seeing a lot of it. Those, she could have eliminated one of those colors and just, I don't know, put something else in. And I don't mean like the pop of blue thing, which is friggin' everywhere. I was gonna go into Juicy, but I think I'm gonna go into the color Rough instead, just because it's seems like it's a little more pigmented. I'm gonna put that in my crease and blend that upwards. All right, now we get into the more interesting, well, we'll see if they're interesting or not. I'm gonna grab a little tiny brush and I'm gonna go into the color Untamed, which is like a dark, in the palette, it's a dark plummy color. And there's a fair amount of kick up on this color in the pan. So we'll see what we get here. And I'm basically just going to put this on the outer, half or so of my eyelid and crease. So that's a pretty color, absolutely. Really pretty. I do like a nice deep plummy color, especially if it builds nicely, because then you can really make use of it in a lot of different ways as far as darkening up a look. Shameless is really pretty. It's like kind of a pink rose gold color. And Desire is also really pretty. And then I like Passion. So there's the little finger swatches of those three. And I mean, they're really pretty. Which one do I want to use? Let's go ahead and use Shameless. That's the sort of pink gold sort of shifty one. It's a little bit of a duochrome, I think. I think I am going to use a glitter glue just to try to get the most out of this and hopefully have it stick the best on my lid. And if I feel like I need to, I will of course spray it. So I just used the glitter glue from Too Faced. I'm going to use that same brush. I'm going to pick that up on that brush. Kind of not the best pickup here. That's pretty, but let's see if I can build that up a little bit just with my finger. That's a lot better. I don't like it when I have to use a certain technique or brush or my finger or whatever to get the results that I want. I like to be able to choose a little bit more, but that is not the case here. So that's all right. We're just playing here. This is definitely one of those palettes that I want to like it because it was expensive. I think this is a 60. I think it's $60. But I would say definitely the finger is the way to go if you want maximum payoff. So that is really nice. Like I say, just a little bit problematic as far as me needing to use my finger in order to get the most opacity on there. So I suppose what I would say is to go ahead and put the bulk of it on with your finger and then use a flat brush to sort of, place it where you want around the edges. That seemed to work okay. I'm going to pick up the color Naughty, which is just sort of it's another one. It's like the colors Naughty, Rough, Juicy, and Arouse are all so similar as to be, maybe not pointless, but it's like there are so many options, and I just feel like that was a missed opportunity. But anyway, I'm going to put this right here, kind of darken up my crease a little bit because I didn't go ham on that. I'm going to take that first brush that I used. I'm going to pick up the color Juicy, and I am going to just go very, very lightly over where I have shadow and where I don't have shadow, and just kind of blend out those edges a little bit with that color. Okay, just for kicks, because that's how I get my kicks around here, I'm going to pick up the color Spicy, which is the very darkest color in this palette. And let's see, let me put that on my finger here. And that is it's also sort of a plummy color, but it looks like the darkest one. Let me do Untamed real quick. There they are side by side. So Untamed is definitely a warmer color, a little bit more of a red undertone. But I'm going to take Spicy and I'm going to put that in the outside corner here, a little bit more focused. Take that brush that I was just using and kind of blend out that color, especially in the crease area. I would say that that's definitely darker when you get it on your eyes than Untamed. So that's a good thing. I like being able to, I like having something like that I can deepen things up with. And if you have a like a black or a blackened brown or something in your collection, you could go even deeper, I think. I'm not going to do that just because I am trying to stick with just this palette. That's pretty. Now I do see a bit of fallout from that glitter shade Shameless down under my eyes and stuff, so something to be aware of if you do your face makeup first. I find shades like this, you almost always have some glitter fallout, and you end up with glitter on your face. I don't care how careful you are. I feel like that looks a little bit patchy right there. I was having that the other day though, now that I think about it. And so I think that I've got a little bit of like extra dryness right there that I need to attend to with some a little bit heavier duty moisturizer or something. So that Shameless color is trying to transfer up above my crease because I have hooded eyes, so when I open my eyes it's going to move up there, and I did go above a little bit, but again, something to be aware of. But if you get that, it's, in my opinion, it's better to just put it there and then work with your crease shape and stuff kind of around where you know it's gonna end up anyway. So that's, I mean, that's a pretty look for sure. And boy, I'm looking a little rough today, folks. I am going to go put on the rest of my makeup, and I will come back and I'll share a few final thoughts on the Naughty palette from Huda Beauty. And yeah, that's about it. I'll be right back, guys. All right, before we get back into the palette itself, let me share real quick with you what I put on the rest of my face. I revisited a foundation that I bought in the late summer, and it's on the dark side for me, so you'll forgive that, but I did bring it all the way down my neck in order for it to not look completely strange. But I used the Givenchy Tint Couture City Balm, and I do have a complete review on this foundation in my videos, and I will link it above just in case you're curious about that. For my blush and bronzer, I went in with the Hourglass Ghost Edition Ambient Lighting Blush Face Palette, and I just used the bronzer from here, and then I mixed these two these two blushes together. For my highlighter, I used a favorite of mine. This is the Clinique Lunar Pop. I think that's what it's called. Yeah. Flower highlighter, powder pop, whatever. It's the Lunar Pop highlighter that they have, and this is definitely one of my favorite finds for the year. I did go in under my eyes with some of the colors from the palette. I used Naughty. I used a little tiny bit of Untamed, and I used a little bit of this strange looking one over here in the corner, and it's actually, I think what that is like an eye gloss, and so that has a very, it's not something that I wear real often, but it has a very sort of specific look and specific purpose. So I put a little bit of that on my inner corner. It wasn't really doing it for me, so I went over it with Shameless, and that made a nice sort of base for the Shameless to stick to, so that was pretty cool. In general, this is a pretty palette for sure. I think it could have been edited down to, what would that be, 12 pans. I think they could have eliminated 6 of these colors. The only one of those marbled colors that I like was Passion. I love the color Shameless, which is the color I put on my lid today and around my inner corner. I really like that. I also like Irresistible and Desire, but obviously I didn't use everything. I didn't even swatch everything, but I think they could have taken at least 3 of the sort of mid-tone neutral shades out of this palette and been just fine. That's 4 of them. And you know, you really don't need, I would have kept Hypnotic because that's a little bit lighter, makes a nice transition shade. But as far as the other ones, I think they could have eliminated two or three at least of those colors, and they would have been just fine. They could have left out Flower Power, which is that um, sort of gold one that just didn't really didn't really do anything for me. It's kind of a topper shade, and I don't really like those. I just think they're I just think they're kind of pointless, and I've got a million of them already. So I didn't need that. I do like Untamed and Spicy, which are the two darkest colors in the palette. I think those are nice, and I think they're different enough from each other that they both have a purpose in this palette. They could have left out Tantric, which is another sort of gold shimmer shade. I just don't reach for colors like this. If you like colors like that, then you know it seems like a pretty nice color as far as I can tell. Let me go ahead and swatch that on my hand. I mean, it's pretty. There's nothing wrong with it, and it is a little bit more of a, oh, it's not like strictly speaking gold. It's got a little bit of a peachy, pinky sort of undertone to it. So I do like that about it. But generally speaking, those are just not colors that I tend to reach for. I do like the eye look that I got today. I really, you know, I do. There's nothing wrong with the way things blended. I did have to work a little bit with Shameless in order to get it to look the way I wanted it to, but you know, I'm willing to do that if it if it does it, if it does what I want it to as I work with it, then that's totally fine. It's when I work and work and work and things just don't happen. That's what I don't like. Nobody likes that. That's a dud. But overall, I think this is a pretty palette. If you've got a lot of eyeshadow in your collection already, like I do, you really don't need this. I mean, you really don't. I will probably revisit this palette in a week or two and try to do a little bit different color scheme. Not that different, obviously, because this palette it's a pink brown palette, and you're gonna get a pink brown look. But I will probably come back, revisit this, use some of the colors that I didn't use today just to see what those look like. Especially, I'm most interested in this color Desire, which I think is really, really pretty. I love colors like that, just in general. But they could have eliminated all of the marbled shadows except for Passion. They could have gotten rid of, as far as I'm concerned, both of those gold colors. They could have eliminated two or three of the sort of mid-tone neutral brown shades in here, and it would have been a lot better palette, better curated palette. And as far as the one over here in the corner, the eye gloss, I appreciate the effort of trying to put something in a palette that's a little bit different. The effort and the execution don't quite meet, and so you know, I'm pretty sixes about that one. It's not something that I've played with yet, so maybe there's something about it that will that I'll be able to discover that it's like, oh yes, this is a really interesting or new or different kind of eye product. And is that the kind of thing that's going to make me say you need to go out and get this pouch just for that one shade? Absolutely not. Again, if you have some of her other palettes, especially the Nude Obsessions ones, you don't need this palette. I think between now and the time that I revisit this palette and refilm or film another look, I will get out my Nude Obsessions palettes and kind of compare and contrast and let you know what I think as far as that goes, because I think those palettes are still available. It lets you curate what you want down a little bit into little 9-pan palettes, which I think is really nice. But yeah, I mean, I'm happy with the way my eye look turned out. I am a little disappointed with the little sort of patchy spot right here on this eye that is due to, I think, my skin being a little bit dry right there. But I feel like palettes, eyeshadows should be a little bit more forgiving of things like that. But it's kind of disappointing to see it catch that way on that little bit of dryness that I have right there, because that's not an uncommon thing for people, especially if you're a little bit more mature like myself and you have a little bit of dryness or just any kind of issues like that. Thanks so much for joining me here today, guys. I really appreciate your time here. Don't forget to give this a thumbs up if you liked this video, and subscribe because I always love to see new subscribers if you haven't already. But until next time, bye guys.